let's see how much I'm gonna be able to film for you guys, because there's a crazy amount of music inside, so I might have to do a voiceover. This is a crazy line. So it's extremely wild. I'm gonna try to speak really loud because I don't have a speaker, but basically there's a competition. There's several categories of competition that we're gonna judge. Take a look at some of these vehicles, guys. Some of this stuff I have not seen in the States, and honestly, it's pretty darn cool. So we have this beast. I don't really know what to call it other than that. It goes by the name Tonka. So this is the build sheet. You guys can pause here if you want to really look into it. But basically, it started out its very long life as a YJ. Nothing on this is stock anymore, guys. I mean, just look at the details. Marlon's filming it in Spanish. So obviously, if you guys want to hear it in that language, go ahead to those pages. But I mean, everything on this is basically custom. It's on portals. Supposedly, I was told that this guy races the tracks here. So they do things a little differently here in Costa Rica, as far as there really obviously is no Ultra 4. So they race around a built track with puddles and other obstacles. I'll try to find the name of it so I can link it to you guys, but there's definitely a bunch of videos about this type of racing on YouTube. That's the shop that I assume built this Jeep. Exhaust, and honestly, I've seen a video of this Jeep competing. I don't even know if we can call it a Jeep, but trailing arms, triple bypass, coilovers, the whole nine. 4-link front, 4-link rear. DS track, those axles we see a lot in South American countries, the Caribbean. I know that there's a big push for them as well in the States. So another thing that I don't really see a lot in the States are these tires. These are Genius. That's the brand. They look like they would be terrible on the road, of course, but that's not what they're for. They're supposedly the best of the best as far as mud goes out here. So really, we're gonna see, you guys are gonna see a lot of the rigs that I show today are gonna have this type of tire. Warn, like always, coming in clutch. Even in a different country, we have Warn Fairlead, Warn Winch, so it's awesome to see great products being used even all the way out here. We have the rigid pods. We have those as well. That light bar is interesting though. So part of this competition, guys, I'm gonna stop waving around my Powerade. But Powerade, because I did end up in the ER 2 days ago, I was extremely dehydrated. That really, really sucked. I'm feeling kind of better. I just can't eat anything. I accidentally, I don't know if it was food poisoning or drinking the tap water, which I forgot while I was brushing my teeth not to do. I feel like I do it all the time though, whenever we travel outside of the country. Old habit. So this Hilux, this Toyota is also in the running for a specific category as well. It's gonna be 4 Jeeps, or 4 vehicles I should say, sorry. So this pickup, the yellow Jeep over there, the red Jeep, and then another Liberty that actually belongs to a colleague of ours out from Puerto Rico. He had it built here in Costa Rica. It's his Costa Rican rig, but check this out. The first thing that catches my attention is this winch. This looks like something out of some steampunk movie, not too sure what it is. I'm sure they use it because winching is definitely very normal out here. The mud is just too insane, too crazy. Tractor tires for the win. They're probably, what brand? Constellation, made in India. No idea. I was honestly expecting Genius tires, but they look kind of similar. I'm sure they perform just about the same. This rig, it's aesthetically pleasing. I mean, I would say it's pretty clean. There's a couple things, obviously, that this is the SEMA that they have, guys, here in Costa Rica, this expo. So I don't know if y'all have seen SEMA videos, but Bluetooth drive shafts are kind of a joke among SEMA attendees. But this is what I would call kind of like a SEMA mishap, where you see that that sway bar is digging into the tire. That's gonna last 0 seconds out on the trail, obviously. But a lot of these guys literally were working well into the early hours of the morning just to get these rigs here on time. So obviously, you know, take that for what it's worth. We have fans and intercoolers, all sorts of stuff going on here. Again, this is one of the rigs that are gonna be judged for a specific category. This looks like a torture device. I'm not too sure about this. I don't think I'd ever sit in one. But again, I'm not entirely sure what purpose that serves. You guys, I'm sure, will blow me up in the comments. But 10 out of 10, do not recommend. If you guys watched our Dominican Republic video when we went off-roading there with our friends from 4x4 Dominicano, I didn't really realize how expensive it is to build off-road rigs or just 4x4 rigs out in any country, honestly, outside of the United States. It costs anywhere from 3 to 5 to sometimes even more times the amount. They were showing me a Motoville bumper, how much it costs them, you know, in shipping and taxes just to get it here, right? They gotta pay US taxes and then import taxes. It's a whole mess. So a bumper is literally, I would say, a little over $1,000. We're talking about a $600-700 Motoville bumper is $1,000+. And again, guys, what Costa Rican livable wage is, I mean, $1,000, I would say, is a really big deal. You know what I mean? This is another really cool YJ. I think this is probably my second, if not my first favorite YJ. I'll show you the other one that kind of stole my heart as well. You have these like tractor tires, genius, of course. I mean, the whole thing, these guys really, really clean it up for the shows. You got the double snorkel on 2 sides. Not too sure if it's aesthetic or, I mean, I'm sure one of them at least functions. I can't imagine them both functioning, but you know what? I've been wrong before. Kind of try to sneak in here to show you guys. So bypasses, coilovers, very normal to see, or not normal, but you know, most of these built up rigs have them. The back is beautiful as well. Went ahead, and all of this is really custom, guys. So in Costa Rica, because things are so cost prohibitive, like I said before, they've really had to reverse engineer a lot of these products that they, you know, wish that they could easily acquire financially and just, you know, physically speaking, and have really, quote unquote, copied the design to make it more affordable for everyone here. So a lot of these things, I'm not saying this specifically, but I've been shown a couple things that have been fabricated to mimic better known companies in the US so that they could have something usable as well. The more I stare at this, you guys will let me know what you think, but as far as like this being protected, I don't think this skid plate honestly comes out or over enough. I feel like this should be kind of turned 90 degrees, but I don't know if that's normal. You guys will let me know. I know that they don't deal with rocks out here at all, so that might be safe as far as mud goes, but yeah, this screams fix me. But what do I know? Another worn winch, so a bunch of different models that I haven't seen or that aren't really used that often in our circles out in the US or back home. But that's really cool. They do definitely make products last longer out here just because, like I mentioned before, the availability, price, everything. It's just not like we have it back at home. This is the front end of the Hilux, which is a vehicle that we don't have back in the States, and I really wish we did. They're cool little trucks. So you got hydro assist. I mean, all this paint I'm sure was redone. Tall as all get. There's cool little gems like this. Lots and lots of Land Rovers. So that sign, I'll zoom in, it says please don't touch. You'll see him wiping. I don't blame him. The paint is immaculate. Everything's beautiful. This is the Meguiar's booth. I don't blame them. We use Meguiar's. We love this stuff. I'm gonna try to squeeze in here, guys. I'm like sweating a second person off of me. This is honestly one of the coolest little Jimneys. I'll show you other ones that I definitely want to build. I think instead of getting like a buggy or something, I want to build like a really cool Jimny and ship it out to the States and just have like a fun, cool little rig. So all decked out in ARB stuff, as you see. But the really cool thing, we don't have these in the States, obviously, but I would say the wheelbase is obviously clearly short. It's a 2-door, so there isn't much room as far as overlanding. But with all the accoutrements, I should say, that are kept up there, you have the awning, which, I mean, this is, I would say 6 feet at least. You have all these accessories here with like the bat wings and stuff like that. So it'll open up to like canopies like this. And honestly, I was telling Marlon that this could be like a hangout spot during the day, remove everything. And honestly, you can throw a king size air mattress there, a queen, blow it up, close the rest of the awning and you'll be safe from all the bugs, and there you have your nighttime sleep if you don't want to do a rooftop tent or anything like that. Check out the price on these traction boards. Yikes. We always have that one rig at shows, but honestly there's a couple like this, and you got to appreciate that. I mean, this guy went out and used it for what it was for, and then just put tire shine on the wheels and tires and just called it a day. It looks great, it's purpose built, he uses it, he or she uses it obviously, and honestly it's a little cool to see a rig like this posted up in basically the Costa Rican SEMA. We have a scrambler here for sale for the low number of 79,000 US dollars. Can't say I've seen a setup like this before. I'm loving the Red Bull custom shocks. But yeah, I guess those are like the old school spring coil buckets, I guess. Yeah? Come for me in the comments, guys. Give me that engagement. This is something that I see a lot here. Not too sure what that's about, but yeah, I can't even imagine the amount of noise and heat that that's gonna put out. But all in all, I love that like matte gray finish paint that it has. Not tall enough, but that's what the inside looks like. And Costa Ricans know how to party, so food and drink for free. All sorts of other like smaller type of vendors. You got boots and knives, carrying gear, wheels. Kind of like try to see past the people, but this rig, I'm not entirely sure how you say it. Baic, B-A-I-C. So we don't have these. It honestly looks like a four-door Jeep. Obviously overland built, but look at the running boards. I don't want to piss anyone off. You're not going to be able to really just see with the glare, but you can see it's kind of modeled after a JL, I would say. Plastic fenders that align with the bumper. You got the spare tire carrier. Really, this looks a lot like a JK JL hybrid, even the hinges. Honestly, I'm interested to see who manufactures or where. Look at the lights, almost like giving me Bronco vibes. Let's get the name of this rig. He just lifted the hood, which I saw is where it was. Bike, that's how he pronounced it, B-A-I-C. So I'm gonna do some more research on it. I assume it's 4x4. It honestly looks like a mix between Bronco, Wrangler, JK, JL, getting a little Land Rover vibes as well. You guys let me know what you think. I told you they know how to party. I'm pretty sure that's wrong. I lost Marlon somewhere in my adventures, but we're getting closer to the music, so I'll probably do a voiceover over this next part. I'm walking down the aisles trying to see if there's anything really, really cool that I want to show you guys that we don't often see. All right, so we see the Lexus a lot there in the States, but honestly, I don't really see them a lot with Overland. So it has the 360, I would almost say, top. KMC, that we know. Maxxis, which is real big out here as well. You got the jerry cans, you have different types of fridges. I'll try to get a wide angle view of the vehicle, but I mean, look at this paint. It's a mirror, so it has some goodies. You have the rigid adapt bar, so I have this same one in a light bar, but you can get them this size as well, and that you see often on Jeeps. On the top of the hoods, really. So a bunch of rigid products, that's really cool. A hardtop rooftop tent, so James Barrett, I'm not familiar with the brand, but maybe that's big out here. Flashy, flashy Toyota Nation. So Toyota is definitely a big deal out here, and really honestly, most Caribbean and South American countries, Toyota is really, really big. We've come probably to my favorite vehicle. Okay, it's really hard to pick a favorite, but this is definitely top 2 of my favorite vehicles of the entire. Check this beauty out. Guys, this is a Suzuki Jimny, but not just any Suzuki Jimny. It's on portals. That's crazy. So on top of being, you know, on portals, which is no small feat, especially out here, I mean, it has all the bells and whistles. No coilovers, but trailing arms is very common for the Suzuki Jimny out here. I like those seats. You have those real aggressive mud tires, not entirely sure of the brand, but you have I mean, that's a very common brand. We all know and love Fox. I mean, it has all the bells and whistles. Just look at the clearance, and that's a stock. That's smaller than a Dana 44, I would assume. It's probably a Dana 30 comparable, but check out the clearance. I mean, that light is pretty annoying. Ignore that, sorry guys. But you could, I mean, drive over a decent sized 5-gallon bucket. I mean, that's crazy. Gas tank is on the other side, or not necessarily tank, but the fill. Besides loving the color, I mean, I'm loving everything. It's so clean, it looks beautiful, everything's streamlined. We see this a lot here, guys, as well. So basically when they run or they're driving, Costa Ricans out here off-roading in the mud, they have to use basically this to kind of shimmy their way along the mud wall. And honestly, I know what you guys are gonna say, it wouldn't hold up on the rocks, and that's true, but that's not something that they have to deal with out. So this is my other almost first place favorite rig. You can hardly call it a rig. It's obviously an Ultra 4-esque type of vehicle. You guys, they built this tube chassis in 2 months, 7 weeks. That is insane. They fabricated everything, obviously, other than the Curry axles here in Costa Rica. Sorry I keep yelling at you guys, but I have to overpower the music. Check this out. I mean, an LSX in this. This is a beast, a Toyota Land. So there's this one, and honestly, between this one and this one, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, this one, it's red, so my vote's on this one. It's my favorite color, but look at them. I mean, I'm gonna back up. Let's try to get, these are normal sized people over here, guys. These trucks are huge. Look at the stance. This is another cool Jimny, obviously not as modified as the one that I showed you. That's my favorite, that dark army green. Look at that dog. Milwaukee, because you already know. There he goes, guys. So the first or second day we got here to Costa Rica, we went to our friend's Vargas Garage in Limon, Costa Rica, which was basically on the coast. This is the owner, Pedro, and his wife. Super, super nice. They had us at their house. We arrived super late at night, last minute. They're like, yeah, sleep in our guest room. Super nice people. So this one, he was finishing the build when we got there. Look at that paint, guys. Can you even see that? That's crazy. That flake, it's rivaling bleeping Jeep's Scorpion 2.0. This is beautiful. He's like lighting it up. He's so funny. Yeah, he's like, he wants to see, everyone to see his super hard work. They did everything this color, the chassis, the springs. I mean, it's perfect. I'm loving, they did this color as well in their shop. So he's really a one-stop shop. The Genius tires, like we already mentioned, super big here in Costa Rica. This beast sits high. I think he finally named it Fiona, which is pretty funny. But beautiful, beautiful. It has 2 fans. It has obviously the one on the inside, or I'm sorry, 2 radiators, and then also one in the top. So that's crazy. But mud, guys, it gets everywhere. I think this is probably the only JK that I've seen here, but let's keep looking. So I haven't really walked into this area, but it's all, fast cars, sports car type of track rally cars. So different engine modifications, I'm assuming. Not sure what's happening there. Some kind of VR situation. No thanks, I get super nauseous. Look at this staging, guys. Sticks and all, I love it. I love it. Every single inch of this FJ, I think, is dirt. You can't go to Costa Rica or embrace Costa Rica without the Costa Rican two-toed, or two-fingered or three-fingered sloth. So we went on a tour at a Jaguar rescue last week, and basically we were told that they're not called two-toed and three-toed because they all technically have 3 toes. They're called two-fingered or three-fingered. So there you go, guys. Today you learned. Interesting to see Mickey Thompson out here. You guys know that they're big back in the States. Got chemical guys, which a lot of you guys use as well. We have as well. Short, sweet, and to the point, guys. There's a lot of vehicles out here. I look disgusting. There's a lot of vehicles out here that we don't see back home, and I think that that's one of my favorite parts about going off-roading across the world, is getting to see all the 4x4 vehicles that, you know, we didn't grow up with or have, you know, the luxury of seeing. So that's really cool. It's really special to be bringing all these types of cultural differences to off-road and seeing how everyone does things. It's an awesome experience. I haven't gone down this row, but a lot of these, honestly, here the mindset is everything has a price, everything's for sale, which I guess is a lot like the US. Another super awesome Toyota. Now that's a good full hydro skid plate. He is ready, he or she, I think it's a he, the guy that drives it, is ready to play. So interested to see what his thoughts on how these tires perform in the mud. Extreme mud, as they have out here. This really, really tall, I would say CJ, is also in the competition. I'm curious, I mean, those have to be 16-inch coilovers. I don't know, you know, the ride height, but it looks really tall. It looks like I would definitely have to jump in it. I like the personalizations. Another one of these really crazy big barrel winches. I'm assuming that they really need all of that. So guys, I actually met the owner of this CJ7, and I'm in here and he gave me basically the full tour. Guys, basically he also has portals on this thing. He said the chassis is from like an agriculture rig, really basically a tractor. And I have to show you the inside. There's levers or levers for everything. It's crazy. We got stuff going on here. We got stuff going on here. It looks like, I mean, if you're being a bad passenger, he'll eject you. I mean, there's a lot going on here, guys. Basically what he was telling me is there's nothing electrical on this Jeep. It's all mechanical, so a lot less possibility for things to fail, especially on these Costa Rican trails. There's this one trail that will take 6 days from start to finish. So he really tried to make this bomb-proof. All right, the owner, which is him, came in here and basically gave me the rundown so I can really tell you guys what it's all about. So obviously it's a manual. He said this one activates the rear locker, this one activates the front locker, and this one activates the hydraulic system. So the winch is hydraulic. Those big drum winches that I was showing you guys, he says they're all hydraulic. So once you activate that, he says you pull that forward, and then basically to control the winch, forward is in and backwards is out. This also controls, ooh, what did he say? I forgot what he just said. Sorry guys, he said it to me in Spanish and I was trying to retain the information. Obviously this is 4-wheel drive. Oh, I remember. So he says that he has a hydraulic jack that he connects to the vehicle, or to this, and if he has to change a tire out on the trail or something, he'll connect it to this, and this is how he will use that hydraulic jack. So that's exactly what it is. This is the hydraulic fluid reservoir. This is the battery. This is the only radiator. So when in use, he goes ahead and he opens the back of the soft top, hard top. This little sun window, moon window is custom as well. So honestly, this rig is something else, guys. I'm gonna put all the levers back to the way that I found them. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Very well done. Another screaming match that I'm gonna have with the phone, but when we went to Puerto Rico, we stayed with Waldy's Off-Road. You know that he owns the big off-road shop there, lent us his Jeeps. You guys know who we're talking about. This is the rig that he had built here in Costa Rica by Venegas Garage, and it is, or was, a Jeep Liberty. Obviously very little remains. They put it on a chassis. I mean, the whole thing is 100% custom. Okay, so this is my favorite JK here, obviously. You guys will be able to guess in a second when I walk around it, but dun 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 dun, two-door black JK. This is what GP used to look like, basically. This is another one that's built out of Puerto Rico by Waldy and owned by our friends here. They actually went to Moab, not last year, but the year before that, and wheeled. They keep their silver JKU out there in the States. So he has a rock crawler. This is one of his rigs that he has here in Costa Rica, but super cool. He's on his way to the States in a couple days to do an overlanding tour in New Mexico and Arkansas. So that's gonna be really cool for him. but awesome to see this thing in person. I've seen it in other videos that our friends post, but really, really cool. Obviously, tons, the whole nine. Basically very similar to my builds before the last update. So, you know, stock engine, I think it's 3.8, so mine is a 3.6, a little different, but stock wheelbase, 40s. Honestly, really clean, really nice. I checked the weather and it says that it's 74 Fahrenheit, and there's no way, guys. It might be 74, but the humidity has to be 1100% because it literally feels like I'm breathing through a straw, and maybe probably breathing in what most people breathe out. Oh, I just saw the other, so I made a mistake. It's not a YJ. I thought it was a YJ. It's actually Toyota, duh. But this one is top three rigs out here that I really, really like. Just something completely different, guys. I mean, everything from the graphics, it's very well coordinated. I don't think it's overdone at all. You have 16-inch coilovers in the front. I think he said 16 inches in the rear, and they used every bit of it, or actually, I'm sorry, 16 front, 14 rear. Very common to see this setup too, to keep it away from the mud, but yeah, real aggressive mud tires. Again, an exhaust shooting out this way. I guess that's common occurrence here. Another full hydro rig, but with like a full skid plate. Again, customized. Coyote is the name of this rig. I was in there yesterday. Sorry guys, a little tongue twister. And it was really cool to see the custom plexi windshield, so they can kind of open and close and clean and don't have to worry about cracking. So I may look into that because that is really cool. Let me snap a couple pictures. Awesome. So this one I would say is definitely multi-purpose. It's probably one of the only ones that I've seen that looks like it's ready to tackle some of the really intense extreme mud trails out here, but at the same time it's ready to camp overland. Not too sure on what the gas mileage is. I'm probably thinking not too good, but honestly it'd still be a great time. Kind of dark out here, guys, but you can see the parking lot has definitely cleared out. That's a wrap for the Costa Rican 2023 Expo, two-day Expo, of course. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Sorry that I had to yell at you the entire video. Sorry for the background noise and whatever kind of voiceover we had to do the entire video, but hopefully you liked it. Big thumbs up, share with your friends and family, and we'll see you next time. Bye.